Good morning. 不行。
Good morning.
Hi Jasmine, how are you? Hi Amanda. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfect. I can't see you.
Because I don't have my video on. Hold on.
All right, I see. Hi, how are you, Jasmine? How are you, Amanda? Hello, hi, Philip. Good morning. So, while we are still waiting, why don't we get to know each other a little bit? So, Jasmine, what is the things you are interested in, sourcing?
I've started looking at bed linen.
All right. Okay. How long have you been thinking doing that?
For a little while now. I've already started to get some samples from China.
Yeah.
Through Alibaba.
Yes. Okay. Wonderful. So, what about you, Philip? What is the things you are interested?
I'm just interested in the processes of Alibaba. I haven't sourced anything. I'm not actually actively looking at this point.
Got it. What about you, Amanda? Hello? Amanda, are you there?
Well, hers is in chat. She's looking for cabinetry and supplies for house renovating.
All right. Okay. Apparently she can't. Okay. Cabinetry and the supply for house renovating. Oh, no camera. That's okay. So we have 1 more minute. There are quite a few people registered in this particular webinar. So what do you guys want to get out of today? Jamin?
So for me, just making sure that any product that I'm sourcing will suit the Australian market predominantly, and making sure I'm not getting ripped off pretty much.
Yeah.
So I just want to get best deal, and then obviously, working out how to import into Australia. Like, I know I've got to get a customs broker and stuff like that at this end, but what does it mean at the other end? What works best in that space?
Okay. Got it. All right. Hi, Darren. Hi, Philip.
Yes, look, I'm just interested in the learning about the general process that you go through and the associated costs and the difficulties that you may experience that need to be overcome. And I have dealt with China back in the 70s before China even opened up, and it's changed dramatically since then. I used to do a lot of importing from China then, so I'm just interested to hear from you what is the contemporary way to go about importing from China.
Wonderful. Great. What about you, Darren?
You're
Hello?
on mute, Darren.
Hi, good morning, Janet.
Oh, hi, Lindy. How are you?
Good, good. So, Janet, what is the things you are interested in importing?
Well, I remember you speaking at the Commonwealth Bank years ago, quite a long time ago, right? And I just thought, when I saw your name came up, I just thought I'd just check in and see what's been happening and where you're at the moment. So I just thought, I mean, obviously drop shipping and all that sort of stuff is happening at the moment. Lots of people are doing that. So I just thought I'd check in to see what the latest developments are.
Wonderful, wonderful, great. So Amanda, I want to understand how general process and how to ensure quality goods. Great, fantastic. What about you, Kylie? What is the things you are interested? What do you want to get out of today?
I've just started, or I'm about to start a business, so I'd like to be able to look at packaging options out of China.
Yep.
and how
Okay.
to do it. Yeah.
Wonderful. Great. So, fantastic. I heard about you, and now I am going to, sorry, let me see. Okay. So everyone can see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Wonderful. Great. So what we are going to do is I'm going to just give you a little bit of introduction, how to safely source from Alibaba. And this is actually a seminar supported by federal government. We are very lucky.
Yes.
Yeah, and as well as Australia Small Business Advisory Services and the Business Station and the federal government, and to enable today happening. Okay. So for today, what I'm going to share with you, there are two parts. One part is to give you a little bit of background about Chinadirect sourcing, about me, and then I'm going to share with you how other people succeed. Many of you are starting up the business, and I want to give you an overview like how different business succeed by importing from China, how to make money, where they can, be so successful. And then I will share with you the 5 costly mistakes when dealing with China. So those are the things that you should never do when you're starting. And then in second part, I'm going to share with you the 3 stages of the importing process. So many of you mentioned, like Philip and like Kelly, and all mentioned you want to understand how the process look like. So then in part 2 is designed for you. We are going to go through the different stage of importing process. I'm going to do like a peeled onion and doing the research and tender, sampling, purchase order negotiation, production and delivery management. And then I will open the floor for the question and answer. So basically, it's a jump packed, and in between, you can ask me questions as well. Okay, and then afterwards, if you don't feel to get enough of me, just book a one-on-one session with me. I think they also provide the first one-on-one session with me is free. So thanks for the program. You can just go to the tab and book an hour, and then to get to more understanding. And yeah, all right. So before I even start, look at here. We say the skip carefully, and so this is what we call the Chinglish. Every single word is spelled right correctly, and yet the words the meaning is actually totally different. So it should be caution, and it's slippery. But here says sleep carefully. The translation is totally opposite of what is supposed to be meaning in the Chinese. We call that Chinglish. So in year 2005, I started a company called Chinadirect Sourcing. Now it's 15 years. So Jeanette mentioned you know me like probably 10 or 15, 20 years, like 12 years ago. That was when I was doing in Commonwealth Bank. Actually, I'm not only just running Chinadirect Sourcing now. I also have a tech startup, which is turn the Chinadirect sourcing into a digital platform and go worldwide. So this one we can discuss, yeah, and later to you, Janet, if you are interested. And that's actually, yeah, have attract VC funding and going, around the world. So,
Awesome.
yeah. Chinadirect growth in the first 5 years reached $1 million and at no time. Then in year 2011, we saved our client over $5 million. Who we are as Chinadirect Sourcing, we helping business importing products from China. We are the leading sourcing firm. We work solely for our client interest. We don't buy and sell the products. We don't take any commission from the agent. We are independent and transparent. We help our client sourcing from button to bulldozer. We won many, many different awards, as you can see. And also we have a lot of mentions in the media. So that's enough about us. Okay, now let's talk about the China. Basically, in China, anything is possible in China when you have the right system. Look at this 15-story hotel. This 15-story hotel have anti-earthquake 8.7. It's a 4-star hotel. It is built within 6 days. Yes. What? Yes, it's 6 days. Imagine you take a week holiday and you go away, you come back in front of your house. There is a 6-story, like a 15-story hotel, and bloody hell, where that coming from? So we call that the China speed. When you have the right system, anything is possible. So now I want to share some of our clients how they succeed. This is one of my clients. He is a one-man construction worker, and he basically came to me. He doesn't know what to import. He just wants to import. So therefore, he said, "Lindy, I'm not sure what to do. Can you give me some guidance?" So we went to. I suggested him to go to Canton Fair. And so he come back, he's so excited and says, "Lindy, I found the idea. I want to import this painted key. So, make it Australian gift." Then, I even suggested him to put on the 50 cents, here, the head, and to get the maximum exposure for the Australian products. And so we did a research and tender, sampling, purchase the negotiation, production and delivery management. And then you see he expanded to all the key to different rugby league team, and also to Australian rugby key, as you can see, and then send to New Zealand rugby key, and then send to official licensed rugby key to South Africa, and then to all the different car and cricket, Hyundai, and then college key. He just went nuts, go crazy. And this is him, do the exhibition in Denver, in Germany. So this key landed in Australia is less than $5. He is selling to locksmiths at $19.95. All right. And so, yeah, it's a simple idea, yet he made it happen. This is another one of my clients. She is a she's a mom with two single mom with 2 school kids. And her daughter and her were doing a tanning studio in her garage. So then they came up this idea about doing the kaftan. The so-called kaftan is a piece of clothes. You put a hole, you put yourself in after you tanned. All right, it's nothing complicated, and yet she found this niche market and lead the fashion trend. We did the research and tender, sampling, and also purchase negotiation, production, delivery management. And you can see this is her daughter, Jade and Amber. They stumbled across the niche market, and their background is in fashion and art. They became a key player in the industry. And then they, at the beginning, the first order, they only have black and navy blue. And then later on, they added the second order in the color, which is, the leopard and red and some other color. And then they have, now you can see stockists all over Australia. And they have Melbourne, 17 stockists, and Brisbane, 27 stockists, Sydney, 42. And also they got the national championship for 2014. So they just really gone buster. And so their order, first order was 3,000 pieces, and then to 20,000 pieces. And she doesn't work as a school teacher anymore. She's focusing on her business and take her daughter, had a trip to China and had a great time. So, then this is another lady. She has a handbag, and she is really want to, she only have those hand sketches. She want to do it and make it really happen. So we helped her from concept to reality and turned into this hand drawing into the product sample. And then you can see this is the final sample, and for the girls and for the little girl, and then for the even boys. And yeah, so she started to just really make it happen. We did the sampling, purchase the negotiation, and production and delivery management. And so this is another, I don't know whether you guys heard about the nightclub called East 88 in Gold Coast. And we did a China buying trip with them, saved over 400K with their 3 container of the decoration. You can see all their statues and furnitures, and also all the, the tables and the chairs, and also the bar stool and all the statues, every single thing. We put in 3 container loads for them. And probably 2 years ago, the owner called me and says, Lindy, let's do one more again. He sold his club to another person. He made probably 1.2 million. In which probably 600,000 was made from the purchasing, because he including the whole decoration, including the venue, and sold the whole business. So he did it with me again for another one. I don't know whether he will sell it again or not. This is another client of mine, and he is actually the purchasing manager for a very large organization. And they are in the middle of renovating, upgrading their 170 rooms. At the beginning, he wasn't sure how to do it, and with the China. And so anyhow, we did the 2 China buying trip with them with the 8 container loads of decoration. We saved them over 800,000. And so he became the hero of the company because he saved so much money. This is one of my favorite story. I met this girl, this lady in one of the barbecue with my friends, and she has an idea, and she want to turn this purse into a business. Her purse is a very simple idea. It's just a purse with all different tabs. Those tabs are saying money for grocery, money for electricity, money for rent, etc., etc. And yet she, it cost her $110 to just make it in Australia. And her aim is to helping people save money. How can she sell? Because her target market is, she's planning to sell in $60, $70, but her cost of making is $110. No way she can make money. So anyhow, she came to us. We helped her researching tender, sampling, purchase order negotiation, and delivered to her door less than $10. So literally within 3 months, and she is selling $69.95. Okay, we helped her get on Channel 9, Current Affair, and also the Money Magazine, Clio, etc., etc. She became a person to teach people how to do the personal budget, how to save money. So in the end, within 3 months, she's so excited. She called me. She made 150K just like that. Okay, so if you have a dream about certain product, you have passion with certain industry, if you have a special way of promoting the selling and marketing, there is a great opportunity in China for you to create the wealth, especially during COVID-19. It drives the e-commerce and the selling online, probably 200%. Okay, people don't want to go shopping center shopping anymore because they don't want to the contact. And so in contrast, the e-commerce, the selling online, doubled, tripled. And the many even like say Target, I think 56 store of the Target is going to close, but they are still keep increasing their online portion. So guys, we are in a good time for our e-commerce business. There are top 5 costly mistakes you should never make when doing business in China. First one is to choosing the wrong partner to managing your sourcing, importing, or trying to import without professional assistance. You see, sometimes, one of my client, they excited coming to me, says, oh, Lindy, my homestay is a Chinese students, and then they can help me importing. Well, come on, you guys all speak English. Can you be my lawyer? Can you be my accountant? The sourcing, purchasing, procurement is a profession. Okay, so if you don't get professional assistance, at least you train yourself to get some training like this. The second mistake is to underestimate the importance of the culture in doing business in China. You see, myself, I went to the private Christian boys' school to give a speech about China. So I was doing the map. The shape of map of China is like a chicken, and then people ask me, Miss Chen, where are you from? So I pointed at the Hainan. I said, look at this chicken shit. The whole class burst into laugh, and the teacher looked at me and really horrified and says, Lindy, we don't swear. I said, swear? What swear? I don't swear. And she said, well, we don't say chicken shit. We say chicken poo. Because I was with my ex-boyfriend at the time, and he was the national construction manager. I sit in his car, listen to his conversation every day, this shit, that shit. So I thought that that's the daily language. I didn't know that's actually Aussie slang. So anyhow, the culture really play a very important role in doing business. The mistake number 3 is to choosing the wrong supplier. You see, when you're choosing the wrong supplier, it's like burning the money. I have a client who, against all our advice, and find a supplier on Alibaba, paid $80,000 and for his copperware. And yet, when he opened the container, it's contained loads of sandbag. He was shocked. So anyhow, when the things already happened, he engaged us, want us to help him to get the money back. Then we discovered so many things he did wrong. Okay, there is no purchase order, there is no checking on the supplier's identity. Even when he go to visit the factory, and the scammer quickly put the name in front of the signage, and before he arriving, and even the address for the scammer, there is the same building, but the highest floor was 22nd floor, and the scammer put on 26. So he never checked. Anyhow, mistake number 4 is allowing the supplier to manage you instead of you managing the supplier. And the supplier, a lot of the supplier do play chess, and so they always plan 3 steps ahead. So if you don't know the process, you don't know the culture, you don't know the language, you don't know the legal process, it can be very challenging and difficult. And the number 5 is the most important thing, is the quality control. So if there is no quality control for your product, doesn't matter how cheap the price is, it doesn't make any sense. So we recommend always put the quality control on the top of your whole sourcing process. When you're selecting the supplier, and when you're doing the sample, when you're doing the purchase order, when you're doing the production and delivery management, in the whole process, you need to have the quality control point to make the things, really turn out the way you want it. So far, okay. Now, I want to share with you the second part, which is the 3 stages of the importing process. This is the past 15 years, and we have worked with our client, and with 2,000 projects successfully. The system we use, the stage 1, we called research and tender. So for research and tender, it usually takes about 4 to 6 weeks or even longer. And so we can, let me see here. So with the research and tender, generally to say, in research and tender, we will discover the clear profit path. So to understand whether you really make money or not, understanding what's the hidden cost, and also find out what are the good supplier, what are the bad supplier, and also you see you get the whole picture. How we do that is, first of all, let's say for instance, when you go to Alibaba, before you go to Alibaba, you really need to plan yourself quite well. Okay, you need to have the product specification, you need to prepare the request for quote, and you need to contact the supplier, and then to obtain the quotes and evaluate offer. So we generally contact more than 30 supplier in one category. Okay, it's a lot of work, but it's more of like a guarantee for the success for the project. So we contact probably more than 30 suppliers in this category. We will obtain the quotes and evaluate the offer, and then shortlist the appropriate supplier and prepare the reports. So the first one you see is more of the supply summary report with all the suppliers details, who is interested in your particular project, and then their contact details. And then we do what we call the sample, the quote comparison report. When you compare the supplier, you really need to do apple to apple comparison. You see, this is one of the projects we have done for cardboard boxes. So with the same cardboard boxes, you see, we have international price, which is 26,000. Then we have good international price, which is 13,000. Then we have the local price, which is 5,800. So you can see from the quote comparison, you really get to see the fair market price. Not only that, then you start to have a negotiation power. You see, negotiation in dealing with the Chinese supplier is not like you're bargaining in the market. He want $1, you give 50, and then you go in between. It doesn't work that way with the supplier. It's more so you understand how market really look like. And then, so let's say for instance, if we go back here, as you can see, the price here, which is 26,000, 12,000, 5,000, 9,600, 13,400, 12,500. Then we get to see the fair market price about this particular product is around from 9 to like say, 12,000, right? Say for instance, if we choose the supplier for 9,600 and later on he want to negotiate the price a little bit more, we can tolerate because we know the market price is around 10 to 12,000. We have that room to allow for the negotiation. So this is what we call the power of negotiation. Get to know the fair market price. And so say for instance, going back, if the supplier, the fourth supplier decided to back out, then you are not worried because you have other backup plan. Because through this quote comparison, you really get to see the fair market price. So that's why we say the research and tender is beautiful. It's like the foundation of the whole sourcing. It set up the solid, the foundation work for the success of your importing projects. If if your project of sourcing or importing is not successful, that means your foundation hasn't done properly. And then the best part is also do a landed cost analysis. It's not just only having the, say, let we say here, the FOB price, okay? So-called FOB price is, there are in total 3 different prices when we talk about importing. One is about the X work, which is out of the Chinese factory. Another one is FOB, which is free on board, delivered to China port. So yeah, like I think it was Janet or mentioned, or Kylie mentioned, the cost of the customs and Australian here, what happened in China. So when the product delivered to the China port is FOB, then it arrived in Australian port, that's a CAF, which is cost of goods, insurance, and freight. And then when it's delivered to your warehouse, that's what we call the landed cost, okay? So free on board, plus freight, plus insurance, plus custom duty, plus GST, plus clearing agent charge, plus cartage equals the landed cost. So we also actually have this particular formula, and we done. Normally we do this for our client, and recently we have designed a calculator, and to in probably within 2 months, this calculator app should be ready and in the market. So guys, later on you can use our free calculator. So basically that is for stage 1 research intender. Do you guys have any question? You can put on the chat, and then I can see whether you guys have any questions about the research intender. Okay, or you can keep the question, and let me see what's the question. Okay, question. How come I can't see the question? Okay, so I can't see the question so far. Where is it?
In chat?
Yes, I went to the chat, but it didn't show. Okay. Anyhow, I can come back and answer the question. All right. So now for the sampling stage. Sampling stage is sending your sample to supplier, arranging the sample, sending the supplier sample to you, and the sample from the supplier, selected supplier. You see, once you set up the foundation work properly, the next important thing is to for the sampling. Sampling is probably the most critical stage for you to identify the right supplier. With the supplier, sampling can be back and forth process. And we use what we call the sample making agreement. And also we use we have an office in China, and we do back and forth process. And also when we select the supplier, the price is only one part of the weight when we do selection. The selection criteria, they are history, experience, track record, price, quality and workmanship, service level, capability, competency, person managing project, and ability to follow instruction. So usually we do a matrix, and we put the several supplier on this matrix, and we give weighting to them, and then we weight and then shortlist the supplier according to those weighting, and then to see who would be suitable for this particular project. So, and once we shortlisted the supplier, then we have them to do the sampling process. After the sampling process done, then we move to the what we call the purchase order negotiation. In the purchase order negotiation, you see purchase order is not only just the provide the negotiation, the price, but also it's looking at from holistic point of view, and say, for instance, including the quality control procedures, the terms of payments, the price increases, the modes ownership, the intellectual property ownership, the packaging requirement, and also the quality issue, delivery delay, dispute resolution. So all of those really need to include it in the purchase order negotiation. You see, when you receive the particular product and the product delivered to your door, and yet you discovered there is an issue with your product quality, it's already too late. Okay, too late. So the quality control is actually a system, is a process. And that's why in stage 1, we have research and tender, and we basically narrowed it down from the 30 supplier. So stage 1, we have narrowed, contact the 30 supplier, narrowed to 6 to 7 to quote, and then narrowed to 3 to shortlist. And then in sampling stage, we probably choose one final supplier to work with, but then in purchase order, we still have the quality control procedures in place. So in the whole sourcing process, the quality control is the key. After the purchase order, the next stage is what we call production and delivery management. You see, once you place the order, you thought, oh, we signed the contract, we can put our hands up, put our foot up, and we can relax. No, the Chinese supplier actually need the micro management. Okay, so placing the purchase order, arranging the supply payment, monitor the purchase order progress, having the suppliers do the self-assessment, organize delivery, organize customer clearance. Those are the process you actually have to go through, okay, one by one. And then depends on what is needed. And also each different order depends on the value, depends on the sampling stages, process, depends on like, the whole conversation. Then you decide whether you need to have what we call the PSI and DPI, which is a pre-shipment inspection or during production inspection or, third-party inspection. So dealing with the supplier need the maximum results require massive amount of communication to lots of different Chinese supplier. Usually it take 5 to 30 minutes per question per Chinese supplier, and the supplier speak different English. What do they speak? They speak Chinglish. Supplier have different rules and the legal and the cultural difference, and add to that international trade complexity, it can be cost and the time prohibitive. So now I want to share the golden rules, how we actually managing the supplier. So the first one is anything is possible in China. Okay, and I shared with you about the building, the construction. The second thing is nothing is simple. Okay, don't tell me, says, oh, Lindy, I want to have this standard pen. Okay, sourcing 10,000 pieces of the standard pen. Okay, there is no such thing as a standard pen. Okay, so anything started with a product specification. Even with this pen, you need to talk about, okay, what is the length, what is the width, what's the outside material, what's the weight for it, and what's the thickness, and what's the flow, and what's the inside, what's the structure, what's the color, and yada yada. So all of those need to put into product specification. So if you are wondering how the product specification should look like, you can contact me, contact us, and we can email you the product specification template, or you can even go to our website to download a product specification template for your own to use. Okay. Number 3 is the patience and the relationship are key to success. And one of my clients who is Italian, and they are very like easy to lose temper. I would never recommend you lose temper with your supplier, because supplier, if you lose temper, they will think you are uneducated and they don't want to work with you anymore. The answer yes usually means maybe, maybe means no, and no means keep trying. Because in Chinese dictionary, that they don't want to offend you, and they are afraid saying no to you means they want to, like, they may offend you. So when you go to meet the Chinese factory and pay attention, when they nodded, keep nodded, and you think they agree with you, no, that means yes, Jeanette. Yes, Kylie, I heard you. Nothing else. Didn't say, yes, Janet, I agree with you. Oh, yes, Kylie, I agree with you. No, it doesn't mean that. And the rules are subject to interpretation. A contract is agreement of understanding. When you are optimistic, think about the rule number 2. Nothing is simple. Okay. When you are discouraged, think about the rule number 1. Anything is possible in China. So before the next step is, you like our system, you can see the value, you felt you can trust the Chinadirect sourcing, and you want to get to more about it. And then we can book a one-on-one session with me, or you can book a one-on-one session with my sourcing advisor, Sue, or you can book the upcoming 2-hour workshop with me on 10th of February, or you can book the 2-hour online workshop with me. Whichever you feel comfortable, that's okay. All right. Now I am going to open the floor for the question. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. All right, you can turn on your video, turn on your microphone, and ask me the question now.
Lindy, what's your fee structure? How does that work?
Okay, so Philip, and for our fee structure, the best way is to book a one-on-one session with me. And then in that way, we can discuss your project and discuss your particular needs. Because our fee structure is a pay-as-you-go system, and depends on and also depends on the complexity of the project, and as well as the how long does it take, and so it is according to the stages. So what services you choose, and then we give you a quote and on that particular part. So without understanding your project, it's hard to see. However, yeah, if you like, and then just book a one time with me, and we can go through, and I can give you some advice on your project as well. All right.
Good answer. Thank you very much. Just the other thing too, being an importer, do you do on-site pre-shipment inspections before the goods are actually sent? Because I've seen photographs and I've seen samples, and it's what goes in the container that's the important thing.
Absolutely, you are right. We do. We have an office in China, especially during COVID-19. International travel is not possible, so we basically have our staff and go to the factory. We do a lot of on-site inspection for our client. We go physically check the goods, and we do the photo, we do the report, and then we also come back and tell you whether it's good, it's bad, and also we monitoring it goes to the container. So we do all of that. That's what we call either during production inspection or pre-shipment inspection.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure. So any other questions?
So I've got one in relation to, I suppose, intellectual property.
Yeah.
So if we are wanting to have something printed that would have licensing requirements around it, are you able to assist in that space to ensure that they have, because the last thing you want to do is get a container load of product that doesn't have the licensing, and yeah, they won't let it in, or it gets destroyed because it doesn't have the appropriate licensing in place.
Okay, so if you have the IP jamming, then what will happen is, first of all, you need to protect yourself, okay? And we would, in the research and tender stage and in the sampling stage, you would have the supplier to sign what we call the non-disclosure agreement. And so that is a starting point. And once you sign the non-disclosure agreement, and then with you selected the supplier, then you also have the purchase order. In your purchase order, you would have a specific clause for your IP. And such as, not allow them to put any of the information on their website, on their, promotional material, yada, yada, yada. So in that, basically, you minimize the risk. Will that stop them doing leaking the IP 100%? My answer is no, because you can't even do that in Australia. But at least you have something covered yourself. And later on, if you do want to fight for it, you have a basis to fight for it.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Darren asked the question, says, where on your website do we find the product specification from what you just mentioned? Okay, Darren, if you can just send me an email or contact us, and Sue will send you the details. Sue will email you the detailed the product specification. So any one of you, Sue will email you that. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
Lindy, yes,
Yes.
I remember the key example from your Commonwealth Bank presentation. So obviously he's developed since then. Can you just, I like for example, I know that you can source products. So obviously there's so many products in the marketplace. Do you advise on potential products that that would sell well, or that have not been released, or they're innovative products?
Well, Jeanette, that's a really, really good question. The best way to do it is to first of all have a look at a few the things around you. Okay, you can sell as many products as possible. However, not necessarily all of those products you can succeed, or you can succeed in anything. The best thing is look at what one would be your passionate. Number two would be what you are really good at selling them, promote them, market them. All right. And the third one is what is your strength? So based on those, and you have some idea, I suggest Jeanette is to maybe book a one-on-one meeting with me. Bring your idea. We sit down. I will do analysis for advantage and disadvantage for each of those products and work out possible profit margin and also competitor analysis and who is doing that. So you see, many of my clients, one of my clients who did the fat tire, they call the fat bicycle. Okay, so he come up idea, and all it is the bicycle, and but the tire was this fat, and so he called the fat bag. This the first order when he placed. It took him 6 months just to deliver the first batch. He even sold his house to mortgage for this order. And then the second order, it's very interesting. He actually find a buyer in China. And the second order, he didn't, he had asked, negotiate with his buyer, and the product is from China to China. He didn't even pay 1 cent. And yet we received the money from the Chinese buyer and to us, and then we send it to the supplier. And then even the deposit, in the end, we transferred more than $80,000 extra to this client as the profit. So this is the, he find, because the fight bicycle, the client only discovered in Australia and then bought from him. So I have another client. She selling, it's sort of like a little purse, but with magnetic. You put on your pants when you're jogging. Okay, she is a jog lover or bike lover, and so she discovered that, invented that, and then did all in China, less than $10. And she is selling, I think it was $70 or $80. And yet she's selling crazy. She's selling Amazon. She's selling to America, selling to UK, and it's through her bicycle community. And last order was nearly $80,000 worth, sent to America, Amazon.
Thanks.
So with all this, we see so many successful stories, and this is only one of those two. And then there are some tracksuits, there are some even the locks, and then even the picnic basket, and even the one of my clients doing the picnic basket. And so at the beginning was the order was only probably 15K, and now was about 80K order. They selling on eBay, on Amazon. We ship a lot of products for them to Amazon. I think they call it FBA, filling by fulfillment by Amazon. So we deliver to Amazon warehouse in America for them. Yes. So as long you have the idea, and bring the idea to me and utilize the one-on-one session. Government pay for it. It's free. Free to you guys. And yeah, we can go through and then work out the strategy and choose the products for you guys. All right. So Jeanette, and you know me, and yeah, come to my office. This is actually my office. This is the background in West End. We moved and we're now in West End, and yeah, just come to my office and then we can discuss more. All right. So, okay, Darren's question, how good is the buyer protection on Alibaba purchase? Well, look, Darren, it's better than none. However, depends on how you how you utilize that particular part. So especially when you have an argument with the supplier, it's really difficult to see whose fault is what. I think, even though you have buyer protection, you still have to be due diligent in dealing with the supplier in the whole process. So sometimes, for instance, I give you an example. A client of mine had the whole product, and then the supplier sent it back. And then when she received all the product, and she discovered the printing on the product was a spelling mistake, the sports and sports, and then they printed like SPARTS. Okay, so then everything, all the material was the spelling mistake, and yet the client can't sell. And then the supplier says, we sent the sample to you, you didn't check it, you approved it, and therefore we printed. So whose fault is that? How do you deal with that issue? When you go to the Alibaba's buyer protection, I don't think Alibaba buyer protection will protect you. So it's in the process, where is the point of being due diligent, goes through checklist. That's why in China direct sourcing, we have a detailed checklist. We go through the whole process, and then we help our client to work out, those details. All right. What's the next question? Anyone have any other questions? Chris, you have any questions? Amanda? Michael?
Someone asked in the chat, generally speaking, is our pricing through Alibaba as competitive as it would be if we went to a trade show and negotiated price in person?
Well, look, the price in Alibaba, it is all very, how do I say, a guideline. At the end of the day, and usually you need to do apple-to-apple comparison. Quite often, the price on Alibaba is only what we call indicative. And sometimes could be the supplier make it very low to attract you, and then once you come on board, they increase the prices, and that's their strategy. So what will best way is, I introduced in the beginning, is through research and tender. Through research and tender, you contact probably more than 30 suppliers in that category. You do a price comparison, you do an apple-to-apple comparison. So when you go to the trade show or negotiate prices in person, that's good practice. However, it's never as good as you do some research beforehand, because at the end of the day, negotiation will only happen when you have the background knowledge. If you don't have the background knowledge, industry, market understanding, your negotiation is purely a bargain. It doesn't work out the best to service. So if you have the industry knowledge, you understand how the market price look like, your negotiation will make much more sense. Okay. All right. So any other questions?
Just another quick one. Minimum order quantities.
Yeah.
So obviously Alibaba has a lot of product where they've got, minimum order quantity is 2, for instance, of a product. And then when you actually contact them and say, I'm interested, and they'll go, oh, sorry, our minimum order quantity is 200. So how do you and this is stuff that they allegedly already pre-make. It's their design, it's their print, it's their whatever. But their minimum order quantities that they advertise versus what they actually will quote you are different.
That's exactly right. So that's why, there are a lot of, negative comments about the Alibaba's information on there. And the supplier sometimes do not necessarily tell you everything upfront. So they are so afraid losing your order and they want to get you in. And for the minimum order quantity, there are three types of supplier you are dealing with. Okay. The first type of supplier is what we call the manufacturers. The manufacturers, they are very interested in large volume, but their margin is very low. Let's say, for example, the t-shirt manufacturer. The moment when they start to put the clothes on top of the machine and do a dye, and it's probably already 10 meter, 100 meters, okay, for one dye. And therefore, the minimum order for the t-shirt would be, let's say, 100 pieces per color, okay? And it's decided by their manufacturing capacity. So those are the manufacturing facility. Their minimum order is decided by the manufacturing capacity, by the technology. And therefore, their price is very competitive. However, their MOQ is always high. Then you have another type of supplier, which is a trading company. Trading company are the one who usually don't manufacture themselves, but taking products from elsewhere, and then they selling at a small quantity, but usually their price is much higher. And then you also have in between, which is a manufacturing plant and with a trading arm. They are slightly flexible, but they still have a requirement for the MOQ. So therefore, depends on your project, your product, your capacity, your requirement. You need to determine which one is suitable for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So we have the time to take one last questions. Anyone have any questions? No more? All right. Well, like I said, if you want to know more about it, and then come to my you can book a one-on-one session with me. I think the first one session are still free. And if Philip want to know our fee, just book a time and we can go through that, go through your projects. And or you can book the next 2-hour online workshop, or even to come to face-to-face workshop with me. I think they charge a little bit of money for that. I don't know whether it's $40 or $20, and they charge for that. And yeah, so for that, and we can actually discuss in more details with case study, with negotiation skill, with much more in depth to understand the whole thing. All right. I just want to say thank you. And if you guys like the webinar, please fill in the survey, and I'm going to send you a survey. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the session. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.